Hey everyone, welcome back to my workbench. It's been a while. Sorry about that. Got a couple things done and need to do before I go further. This is the little, this is from the joystick. These are the 4 micro switches that drive the joystick. So I took it over to my CNC and cut out the traces there. So there's actually a couple things I need to do. First I want to do is I want to take this white connector off here and put some colored IDC cables on there so I know what I'm doing. And then I need to tack wires onto the other side of each switch. On what used to be the ground is now an isolated ground. And then I'm going to wire up, it keeps going here, then I'm going to wire up this is just a lithium ion cell and these cute little battery chargers I've had for ages. I need just straight 5 volts, which is nice because this one, because I don't need to adjust anything, it's just 5 volts come out, which is exactly what I need because this thing all runs at 5 volts, not 3.3. Can't see it from here, but I might be able to show it later. I actually got myself a new oscilloscope with a nice 7-inch screen and everything, so I won't go blind. And all I need now is a solder sucker that doesn't suck, that does suck, as opposed to not sucking. Something I've been keeping busy at work day to day. The problem I'm running into is I have a new engineer, but they only started 2 weeks after me, and trying to get them to understand the big picture is hard. Very book smart, very disappointing in terms of practicality on the workbench, to the point like not knowing how some of the basic instruments work, which is really weird to me. I've never had that happen before because there are certain tools as an electronics engineer you should know how to use. I mean, multimeter, oscilloscope, soldering iron, wire strippers, wire cutters, all those basic, like super duper basic things in a lab setting. So not understanding how to do some of these simple, use some of these like tools is just gobsmackingly difficult to deal with for me. It's like, where in the world did you get your degree where you never had to do bench work? Because everyone else I've talked to has, every engineer I've ever talked to and worked with, they had to do labs, and bench work is part of getting a degree. So you actually learn how to use all the tools of the trade. I mean, it's like a carpenter never learning how to use a hammer. It's just one of those things you just like, really? How did you must have gotten your degree entirely on paper and not practically, which is not good. Yeah, it came right out. That's how you use a solder sucker. Connector goes this way. Okay, so I only need 1, 2, 3, 4 wires because I cut the excuse me, cut the line. Oh, I had IDC cable. Hold on. My wife didn't need this nifty little rolling bench anymore, so now I can use it. I'm going to use the same color for each direction because it really doesn't matter which way it goes, but I'll know one comes from the one comes from the high side, one from the low side. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this cable here is what will interface with the Intellivision II. And then, how long do I need? Now let's make the same cable. Don't need to go far. Talking to myself here. So going from the television to there, and I got this need internally. Don't need that long because I'm going to reuse this wiring on the final breadboard as well. This type of stripper, only use it for IDC cable, this ribbon style cable. If you use it for anything else, you're just going to end up giving yourself a headache. Don't need it terribly long, because what happens is, I can even see on this one, I cut some wire that's too thick. There's little notches form, but for like this style of cable, it's fine because it's like a pair of scissors. And IDC cables, the colored ones are always same color pattern: black, brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet, gray, white. There's a very naughty way to remember it, and I don't know the good way to remember it. But I do not want to have any channel strikes, so I will not use the bad one. Good strip. What's IDC? 28? No, 22 usually. This one is 22, 24. Let's go up to 28. It's not the best feeling strip. I'll try 26. That is a 26. I was 1 gauge off. That's right, one will be a little thin. You can actually feel when you strip it, it should just come off easily. The insulation should come off fairly easily. You shouldn't feel a hard drag. I mean, it is at 28. It's right in the middle there. Alright. Solder these on. What I'm probably going to do is with the final board, I'll have it hanging off the bottom side of the keypad. I haven't decided yet. Once I get this wired up with a breadboard, I can figure out what size final perf board I need for this. Perf board is just you've seen it before. It's that green. There's one. It's this stuff. So I'm gonna breadboard it here. Then I have a bunch of assorted sizes of this stuff, and I'll share what the optimal size is. I'll probably end up one that's a little bit bigger than this keypad. I'll have it kind of underneath it. Finally discovered what was wrong with my video. What was wrong with my video capture card? It was the Open Broadcasting OBC was using the wrong color decoding coming into it. Should be YY12 where the hell it is instead of RGB, and it works peachy now. It's not on right now because there's nothing hooked up to it, but my 1080, I have a nice 1080 HDMI capture. So my setup here is I go wait, I want to go this way. My capture setup is I convert from this, you guys can't see it, tilt it a little bit. This guy here is a composite to HDMI, and then I have an HDMI, so that does the upsampling, and then I have an HDMI, straight up HDMI converter capture, so which is nice because you can just capture like whatever in 1080. I actually used it to record a couple old VHS tapes. It actually worked pretty well. VHS looks horrible, of course, but with the proper upsampling. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. VHS kind of sucked. It was just, the resolution is just terrible. Effectively, it was like maybe 320 by 240, maybe, like practically speaking, which is why DVDs were a big deal when they came out, because they're true 480 vertical lines, horizontal lines, I should say. Vertical resolution. That's the word I'm looking for. The vertical resolution was truly 480, and it could do up to 720 by 480. Just 4 times as many pixels, and they were true progressive scan. If you ever wonder why, if you ever hear progressive or interlaced, interlaced means every other line was updated on the screen. It all goes back to the old CRT days. So you have electron guns firing there's an electron beam that goes from the back of the screen to the front, and there's something called steering yokes which steer it back and forth. And because of the decay time of phosphorus, because it actually hits pieces of phosphorus on the screen and glows, so between the decay time of phosphorus and the persistence of vision, you can update the screen. Updated 60 times a second, but every other frame. So it was like line 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever, and then it would skip to the next line when it scans. So that's what they call it, interlace, because it can go back and forth, interlacing. Whereas you have your progressive scan, every line gets updated every frame. So 60 times a second, the entire screen gets updated. So that's the difference between interlaced and progressive scan. Of course, everything is progressive scan. This everything nowadays is your fancy digital pictures. Alright, so let's do the same colors on here. This is a micro switch, which are nice. This joystick is, hear that loud click? That's a micro switch. Very long life, very good haptic feel. Yeah, I had my one job. It was all about haptics, because it made human interface stuff. So you had to have really good feedback. Didn't make micro switches, though. They did make lots and lots of dip switches. That is this guy here. Orange. It's interesting seeing the next generation of engineers come up. Actually, I'm old enough, the next 2 generations of engineers come up. I just celebrated my 49th birthday. So I hit the big 50 soon, next March, and some things I know, some things I don't know. I just wish they had more people in general. My wife and I are actually talking about that in the car today. It's great they want to bring all this chip manufacturing back to the United States. There's just not enough people, like trained people in the U.S. to do it. I think it's like a CHIP Act or something that's called, but there's just not enough. I mean, the pipeline to get engineers through college is long. I mean, we're talking a minimum 4 years to get qualified candidates And that's if they start now. I mean, there are some, and of course there are some people always going through engineering, but just never enough. Because I only graduated with 13 people, including myself, and that was back in the 90s when electronics was in its super heyday. So, all right, red. Just using my widow finger here. Goes over here. Yeah, so imagine how bad it is now. Where there really hasn't been an emphasis. I mean, we talk about emphasizing STEM, but not like putting our money where our mouth is when it comes to STEM. I mean, if you want kids to go into engineering, give them a free ride, and you'll attract a lot of. Well, you have to test first to make sure they actually have the aptitude for it, because engineering is not for everyone. It is not like, oh, I want to be an engineer, and it's like, no, some people just don't have the. You'll just not have the patience or skills to do it. It takes a lot of dedication, and you have to care about what you're doing. Is more than you think. If you do a bad job, someone dies, or many people die. The doctor only kills one person at a time. Bad engineer can kill thousands. We actually had, I remember one of our classes required was ethics and technology, which was a very good class to have, in my opinion. This one's squiggle. Oh, jeez, where's this one squiggle back to? This one goes with me. This side to here. Here, around the bend, comes around, goes around the bend again, and goes to that one. The black. Oh my goodness. Say like, prime example, say Tesla's autopilot. I mean, you could end up killing hundreds of people, thousands of people over the course of a year. I know it's already killed more people than like Ford Pinto did. So that's again an example where if you don't do it right, people die. I mean, it's not a joke. People die from your bad engineering. So that's why you don't have public betas on the road. You test that shit in on the track, not with regular people's lives at stake on the public roads. That's just unethical. Sorry I'm on my soapbox here. I just don't like when people don't take the inherent moral implications of working in a field that can cost one life, one's too many, but end up in a field where you can potentially kill thousands of people, tens of thousands of people with a bad mistake. And some of it, of course, is like, it's cost driven. It's not like, think about Chernobyl disaster. That was completely a cost based tragedy. That reason they built the reactors like they did is because they're cheap. No other country in the world used that style of reactor because they're inherently dangerous. They fail unsafe instead of failing safe. Okay, how do I route these? Or do I need to go on the outside? Which might be a possibility. it doesn't, so I actually do have space. Oh, running edge is a good one though, except for that one right there. That's a pinch. Personally, I love being an engineer. I've been doing this a long time. It's nice creating things, working with new people, working with really smart people. So that's good. So now it's definitely know which one's which, because one's a lot longer than the other one. Whoopsie doodles. Let's see if I can tack this down. Where's my Kapton? No, that's not Kapton. Where did I toss my hair? Just Kapton tape is nice because it's high temperature. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, it gets a little brittle over the years, but it generally is very heat resistant. You don't have to worry about going. It looks a lot more official than electrical tape. I might do a big piece over the top here. Don't think I'm going to do too much more tonight. I'm just going to wire up this little 5-volt charger thingy and see if that works nice. Okay, so that's your joystick. And then these are neat. It's a little all-in-one kind of gadget where you just put in your, you can either plug it into the micro USB there, or you can have 5-volt USB power coming in. You put your standard cell on there. The reason I'm doing it this way is I want to make sure it works with my final setup. Well, usually I'll do it on like my benchtop power supply. I'm really curious to see I want to make sure it works with this power supply, because it is going to be doing high-speed switching to generate the DC boost to the 3.7 nominal, the 5 volts. I work a lot with rechargeable batteries, actually, lithium batteries. Small scale, big packs. I mean, we have this pack discharger at work for Rivian packs. The Rivian packs used on the, what's that, the RT1 and on the Amazon delivery van, I think. The thing is massive, 3,000 pounds. About the size of half of this room. The problem is with lithium ion or polymer or whatever is energy density, because you have even like a 300-mile range vehicle only has the equivalent of about the energy of just under 4 gallons of gasoline. I mean, that gives you an idea how much energy density there is in gasoline, or even like food. It's like if you had like a 9-volt car battery, 12-volt car battery, maybe 2 or 3 of them, a ham sandwich has more energy in it than that, just because chemical energy, where you oxidize something, releases a lot more energy. I just want to test this thing to make sure it's okay. Plus, minus, plus, minus. Got these cute little battery holders like that. Actually, I don't like soldering when you have a battery in it. You can sometimes, the problem is the soldering iron is often grounded, so what happens is you'll end up sending too much current through. You can pop a cell, which is bad because lithium cells when they pop do not go out. You just stand there and watch it burn. I got these nice on-off switches. These nice chunky wires. My goodness. What is this? Some chonkers. Wow. Too chunky. Well, I'm really hungry, so that's it for this video. I'm gonna find some better wires, hook that up, and then next video I'll be doing all the jumpery work, so that's gonna be more exciting. Everyone, thank you for watching and have a great evening.